Hi, I'm Lisa Lockwood, your guest host today on West Coast Weekly. I'm excited to share our upcoming guests. First, we have Dr. Doug Lehrer, who's a board-certified doctor of chiropractic, as well as a board-certified quantum medicine nutritionist, who created his own protocol for removing trauma and stress from the body, specializing in stress-induced pain, emotional weight, and illness, including depression, anxiety disorders, and chronic fatigue. And finally, we have Shelley Hunt, who's the CEO and founder of the Women of Global Change. She's a global entrepreneur, business strategist, speaker, and author. Shelley's the recipient of a Lifetime Achievement Award, Humanitarian Award from the World Congress Center, and she was even knighted as Dame Shelley Hunt by the Order of St. John. She's graced all the national television networks sharing her expertise, and we have an exciting show for you today. So first up, let's get to know Dr. Doug. Hi, Dr. Doug, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Lisa. Wonderful to be here.
Now, 33 years, I understand, you became certified in chiropractic, and along those years, you've learned some things regarding health. Can you share that with us?
Yeah, well, what happened was I learned something very specific in chiropractic college, which was the power that makes the body heals the body.
Okay.
So we have an innate healing system. And here I graduate with 2 herniated discs on my low back, excruciating pain down my leg, sciatica.
Wow.
And I prayed to die.
Oh my gosh.
Because chiropractic, of all different kinds of techniques and acupuncture and medicine, no one really had any answers for me, and even the medical doctors were apprehensive to do any surgery, and I was as well. So
Right.
they said, you know, ride it out as long as you can. And I figured,
Oh my goodness.
I'm going to figure out how to get myself well.
Yes.
And basically realize that we're an energy system, we're an energy being,
Right.
in a physical human experience. And so it's in the energy, because the energy is what conducts the cellular functions.
Right.
So
Okay.
I started removing the stress patterns from my cells, and the sciatica, boom, went away.
You
The
cured
discs-
yourself
the
of
discs-
sciatica.
The discs healed
Oh my goodness.
at 28 years old, and it's 3 years since then. And I've worked on just about any condition you could call out, but call out,
Sure.
and all those conditions, because I don't treat, cure, or diagnose these chronic terminal illnesses. But what I do is I find out what's the stress that created it,
Sure.
and help people resolve that at the cellular level in their brain, the nervous system, their organs, and lo and behold, the body turns on the healing ability, which you always had, and you get well.
My understanding is that about 75% of the population is suffering from some kind of chronic stress. Is that correct?
Chronic pain.
Chronic pain.
Chronic
Okay.
pain, yes.
But chronic pain due to a myriad of things.
A myriad of things. Everyone's pain has a different source. What's really important about pain is 95% of the time, it's not even coming from the area that the doctor's treating you. So if you have shoulder pain, like on the left,
Yes.
I rarely find that it's the shoulder. They may have torn it, they may have rotator cuff tears, they may have frozen shoulder. I just saw several of those this week.
My mother has that, ironically.
But the
Yeah.
problem really was suppressed emotions in the liver or spleen, depending if it's a left or right shoulder. So I would go ahead and resolve the trauma and emotion and stress
So when they
that
come
person's
in,
had. Yeah.
If we could walk through that, if somebody comes in and they tell you, I have a lot of pain right here,
Yeah.
you're starting to dive in to find out what's happening emotionally. How comfortable are your patients with that approach?
They already know that that's what we're going to do. And if they don't, because they
Okay.
get referred in, I let them know. I said, do you understand that we have a flight or flight system in our body, a survival system, which fires off the adrenal glands.
Right.
And that puts out cortisol and adrenaline, and that causes pain in specific areas of the body.
Okay.
So we need to see, where's the pain really coming from, 1, 2, what's causing it. And it's always a stress.
Yes.
And I never had anyone not nod their head and go, yeah, I've been under a lot of stress.
Right.
Let's find out which one it is.
Okay.
So I just had a young man, 23 years old, who came to see me, and his shoulders chronically dislocate, playing basketball. He was on his high school basketball team, and then he couldn't play after that.
Okay.
And because of the chronic dislocations and pain in his shoulders. And he's been to all sorts of doctors. The problem is the divorce of his parents.
Oh, wow.
And
So-
internalizing them fighting
Right.
and all the things that went on in that process. So I just got his brain and nervous system to get out of being stuck reacting
Right.
to his parents' divorce, which is, 10 years ago.
So if I could walk back to your sciatica, So you
Yes.
had this debilitating pain
Absolutely.
for quite a while. You had seen all the specialists. Then you studied more to
Correct.
find out a little bit about your the emotional patterns inside of you. What led you to that?
Prayer.
Prayer. Okay,
Literally,
good.
I just said, show me how to get well. How can I heal myself?
Yes.
I know that's possible. Lead me. And then the world opened up. When you really ask, it is given. You just have to ask for the right thing.
Yeah, and that's actually in the Bible.
The right way. Yes, I understand that.
Yes.
So I did, and then all of a sudden, and basically, because of my own profession, I got a flyer in the mail, and I knew that was it. And I learned from a specific doctor the initial things that got me better, and then from there, I started attuning and developing more and more the way I do it today. And I've trained hundreds of other doctors and health practitioners to do what I do.
Fantastic. And I know as well that you've been on a lot of television programs sharing this and sharing your method. If somebody wanted to get in touch with you and work with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, the best way is to give me a call.
Give you a call?
At 707-495-5000.
Okay, easy enough.
And they can certainly email me via my website,
Okay.
Dr. Doug Lehrer, L-E-H-R-E-R,
Yes.
.com.
Yes.
And on the home page, there's a place to email me and say, hi, and here's what's going on with me. Can you help me? And
Yeah.
I'll answer you back.
So what you said earlier, and I want to make sure I understand, is somebody who's already coming to see you knows that they're going to be working with an emotional part. They know that going in, because let's say, for instance, and I use my mom for an example, who has sciatica and who has been on various drugs and had gotten injections, and it keeps her okay for about 6 months. And she doesn't want to talk about the emotions. Do you have a way that you're able to bring that out and make them safe?
That's what's so cool about what I do.
Yes.
Because they don't have to tell me about all their stuff. I can just say, when did this shoulder problem start? They say
Yes.
10 years ago. My next question is, do you remember a big stress 10 years ago? And
okay.
most people go, yeah. Okay, just think about that. And just thinking about it, I show them how their body tenses up, how their body goes weak, how
Yeah.
it reacts to that. And I said, that's a reactive memory.
Yes.
That's your body still reacting to a stress 10 years ago.
Which is fantastic, because people who have trepidation about sharing emotionally, you find a way to circumvent that.
Absolutely.
Thank you
That's why teenagers
so
love
much.
coming in too, because they don't have to talk about the problem. We just clear it.
Dr. Doug, thank you so much for
pleasure.
joining us, because I know a lot of people are going to benefit from your expertise today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, wonderful being here. Thank you.
And I'm Lisa Lockwood. Thank you for joining us. Come on back for our next guest, Shelley Hunt.
Parent, I really hope to speak to you if you have a son or daughter in high school. I don't need to tell you how bright and talented they are. You witness that throughout their lives. But have you ever thought that maybe your son and daughter are gifted enough that they could be earning an incredible salary without ever having to go to college? In Bob Walter's book, Facing Reality in American Education, his heart's desire is for each child to be looked at individually, not as a group, and so discovering ways to help them achieve as quickly as they can. Because it's no secret, they are truly gifted. Don't you agree? Buy it today. There's nothing that can bring more joy than a young boy or girl smiling or laughing so loud they can't stop. At ilovemybears.com, we love to see that, and we're so thankful that we get to hear the reports of these little ones loving their newfound friend. I love my bears. Soft, cuddly, and to top it all off, made one at a time by master seamstress Patricia Haynes. Go to ilovemybears.com and get your bundle of joy today. Not only will you be happy you did, but watch the smile of your little one the first time they get to hug their very own.
Hi, my name is Tom Julian, the author of The Shepherd. You know, there's hundreds of thousands of people who have felt like the title character of The Shepherd, Tony Castanelli. Alone, no family to count on, friends are becoming few and far between. But God has a way of looking down on those lonely hearts and somehow in His own beautiful way bring people into our lives who can help us find the direction and purpose that we all need and the happiness we all desire. This is that story. It's a simple read, but it's an inspiring moment. Buy yours today.
Many of us know that high school today is not the same as high school in the 60s, 70s, etc. Pressure to achieve, the competitiveness, the anxiety to fit in, and the loneliness has made being a teenager a pretty tough job today. In Bob Walter's new book, Facing Reality in American Education, he looks at ways to help these young people understand just how amazing they really are, and for the students to know that their gifts are theirs alone, and they are created with those gifts to excel and be all that they can be. I'm sure you agree. Pick up your copy today. There's There's nothing that can bring more joy than a young boy or girl smiling or laughing so loud they can't stop. At ilovemybears.com, we love to see that, and we're so thankful that we get to hear the reports of these little ones loving their newfound friend. I love my bears. Soft, cuddly, and to top it all off, made one at a time by master seamstress Patricia Haynes. Go to ilovemybears.com and get your bundle of joy today. Not only will you be happy you did, but watch the smile of your little one the first time they get to hug their very own.
Hi, my name is Tom Julian, the author of The Shepherd. You know, there's hundreds of thousands of people who have felt like the title character of The Shepherd, Tony Castanelli. Alone, no family to count on, friends are becoming few and far between. But God has a way of looking down on those lonely hearts and somehow in His own beautiful way bring people into our lives who can help us find the direction and purpose that we all need and the happiness we all desire. This is that story. It's a simple read, but it's an inspiring moment. Buy yours today.
Welcome back to West Coast Weekly. I'm your guest host today, Lisa Lockwood. Now we have somebody, how many people can say this, that they've been knighted? Today I'm going to introduce you to Dame Shelley Hunt, the global entrepreneur I shared with you earlier. Welcome to the show, Shelley.
Thank you, Lisa. It's good to be here.
I mean, a global entrepreneur. How does one achieve that?
Well, I think, that we're meant to be global entrepreneurs. I think that we have a global society right now.
We do.
Absolutely. And so between technology, know-how, and networks, it's absolutely possible.
Yes. Here's another thing that I love about you. I mean, all these awards I talked about earlier, Lifetime Achievement and Giving Back and the World Congress and Humanitarian, you've been to the White House, the list goes on and on. You have an incredible give back model. So one of the things that you like to do, I mean, I've seen you in third world countries actually giving back. Tell me a little about that.
Well, I definitely do. I think those that serve succeed. And I think a lot of times people operate with their hand out. And when someone puts their hand out, most people kind of back up and go, what do you want from me?
Right.
But what if we operated with, how can I serve you?
Yes.
And so, I operate that way around the world, and it has really grown like the Women of Global Change into over 500,000 members.
Oh my
by
gosh.
operating that way. I think people want to serve and they want to help. Sometimes they just don't know how.
They don't know how.
And having the support of each other and having a network
Yes.
where you have other women, first off, behind you that go, sister, I got your back.
Yes.
I think sometimes women are our own worst enemies.
I agree with that.
And then we have, I love men too,
Yes.
and men join in that with how do we create something bigger
Yes.
out there in the world? And that's really what it was about is, I was doing so much business strategy and other things out in the world, and then people wanted to learn from me, and I said, if you want to learn, you have to serve.
I love that.
And so that's how it started.
It is. So it's almost like it's a mentorship program where people come on board, they see what you're doing, and all of a sudden, vicariously, they're learning your business.
Absolutely.
I know something that probably a lot of viewers will benefit from. Now, imagine that there's somebody out there watching the show who says, I know I have a talent and a skill. I want to get out there and I want to market my business, but I have a small budget.
Okay.
What type of things would you recommend to them?
Well, I think for a small budget that there are certain things that you can do. One, there's certain ways that you can address PR and media. I believe any industry, the top of the industry, the cream of the crop is a small circle.
Okay.
And how do you get into that small circle? And there are ways for you to be able to place yourself in that small circle.
How?
In the media and press. Well,
tell us.
I mean, I can give you some of it.
Yeah,
but,
give us a few.
Okay, a few of the things is, be able to utilize PR and the newspapers. Okay, so let's just take the newspapers for example.
Sure.
Okay, so I want to be able to place my organization say next to Susie Orman.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to find out where she's attending, what events she's doing, and I'm going to place my organization in those events. You cannot sit back and go, the sky's going to crack open and everything's just going to be laid upon you. If you're waiting to win the lottery,
Yes.
you don't get the game.
Same concept.
Right? So it's kind of like, you've got to go to that industry. You've got to place yourself in there, and you have to have the press and media around you. And press and media is a snowball effect if you're going to use newspapers.
Okay.
You want to get to a point where Getty Images is capturing you on the red carpet.
Yes.
The other thing is, just like Tom's is a successful brand.
Right.
Right, they give back.
True.
Right? So you've got to actually hit the millennials and millennial marketing. Millennials actually have $1 trillion in spending power.
Wow.
But they're all about giving back.
Interesting.
So you want to be at red carpets, or you want to be at fundraisers. You want your organization surrounded by that. So those are a couple things that you can do and write your press releases. Please don't write it about you.
Okay. So a press release should be dialed into what?
It should be really, I think that the press is to stand and be a voice for the causes that we stand for.
Okay.
Okay, so you want to be able to wrap your company and your brand in like a little burrito.
Okay.
Into the press and media. Okay, so people write so many PR releases or whatever about them.
I see.
Don't.
Get
Put
away from
yourself
the
with
me,
the
me,
cream
me.
of the yeah, put yourself with the cream of the crop in your industry, and then also for the causes that you stand for.
So you get in alignment with something that you feel is near and dear to your heart.
Yes.
You find a way that you can serve that. Am I saying that right?
Absolutely,
so
yes.
how do you contribute to that particular organization
How do
or
you
charity?
play with them?
Play with
yeah,
them. I like
and
that.
it's got to be something that
Yeah.
is in integrity with your heart, because the words have to match the music.
Sure.
When the words match the music, magic happens.
I love that.
So that's one of the things. And then the other thing is, you know, people don't use local television. And they can. So, you know, we've done, one of my companies, we've done national commercials and cable commercials.
Okay.
People don't realize for $5,000, and people waste money all the time. They
Sure.
might go, well, $5,000, I have a really small business budget.
Yeah. Help
You
them
know?
avoid wasting money.
Right.
How?
So one of the things that you can do is you can actually call your local companies and say, I want to put a commercial out. How much? And when?
Okay.
And where? And what they will do, for example, the greater Los Angeles area.
Okay.
They will go, okay, you sell widgets. And I know people always ask me what a widget is.
Yes. It's just generic.
I know,
You
right?
sell anything.
But they go, this is when people most frequently buy widgets.
Okay.
At this time or around these shows or whatever.
Okay.
And for $5,000, you can actually get some of your commercials out there for a couple $100 a pop, instead of nationally where it's $30,000 to $40,000 for 30
Easily.
seconds.
Easily.
Okay, so now if you have a local store or you're hitting a local vicinity, you know how many people you can hit for a couple $100 in the greater Los Angeles
we didn't
area?
know that. That's why we have you here today.
You know, I mean, I
fantastic.
literally grew up in Boston under a house to a single mom with one pair of shoes at a time.
Okay.
And I joke about it because I tell people, don't let the Michael Kors shoes fool you.
Okay.
Okay. And so, you know, I had a mom that didn't have a business, so I had to learn a lot of this stuff. And so I think it's so important that we share with other individuals
Yes.
some of the shortcuts and some of the things that we've learned.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like you said earlier, it's a pay it forward.
It is.
Because you got here.
Absolutely.
You figured out how to get here. You found out what was good,
Yep.
where to spend your money, etc. And now you've achieved this incredible
well,
success.
somebody reached out their hand to me.
Yes.
And it made a difference in my life. And I think that that's what it's about.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. I want to thank you so much for joining us today. And I know there are probably a lot of people now, with all your enthusiasm and happiness and success, would love to be able to get in touch with you. What's the best way that they can reach out to you?
The best way they can find me is through the Women of Global Change.
The Women of Global Change.
It is men and women.
Yes.
But that is the best way.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us today, Shelley.
you.
Really appreciate your story. Thanks for
Thank you.
being here. All right, we'll be right back on West Coast Weekly, and I'm going to introduce you to Erica Spiegelman, who's going to be talking about her new show, Rewired, coming up next.
I was actually driving in Nashville, you know, I was away from family, friends, knew nobody, and I was just touring as a solo artist. I was tired. You know, I would go out and play these shows on my own with my guitar, my suitcase, and my merchandise, and my, you know, banner display and everything. And I'm just going through the airports at like midnight and trying to find my hotel. And I'm just like, I was tired. I was lost.
Yeah.
There was no passion in what I was doing at all. It just felt like I was putting one foot in front of the other. And I called my dad, and I was just like, Dad, I was crying. I was just like, how do you, like, when you were going through your darkest moments in law school, like, how did you find passion for law? And he started laughing. And I was like, why are you, and my dad's like the kindest man ever. I'm like,
Right.
why are you laughing? And he was like, honey, passion for law? Are you crazy? He was like, it wasn't about passion for law. It was about providing for your mom and for you. And he's like, that's the problem with you young people sometimes. And like, I mean, everybody blames things on the millennials, but hey, this is something we got to take ownership for. You know, he said, you know, we're always so obsessed with follow your dreams, follow your passion, follow your heart. And of course that's important, but sometimes you just got to work.
Parent, I really hope to speak to you if you have a son or daughter in high school. I don't need to tell you how bright and talented they are. You witness that throughout their lives. But have you ever thought that maybe your son and daughter are gifted enough that they could be earning an incredible salary without ever having to go to college? In Bob Walter's book, Facing Reality in American Education, his heart's desire is for each child to be looked at individually, not as a group, and so discovering ways to help them achieve as quickly as they can. Because it's no secret, they are truly gifted. Don't you agree? Buy it today. There's nothing that can bring more joy than a young boy or girl smiling or laughing so loud they can't stop. At ilovemybears.com, we love to see that, and we're so thankful that we get to hear the reports of these little ones loving their newfound friend. I Love My Bears, soft, cuddly, and to top it all off, made one at a time by master seamstress Patricia Haynes. Go to ilovemybears.com and get your bundle of joy today. Not only will you be happy you did, but watch the smile of your little one the first time they get to hug their very own.
Hi, my name is Tom Julian, the author of The Shepherd. You know, there's hundreds of thousands of people who have felt like the title character of The Shepherd, Tony Castanelli. Alone, no family to count on, friends are becoming few and far between. But God has a way of looking down on those lonely hearts and somehow in His own beautiful way bring people into our lives who can help us find the direction and purpose that we all need and the happiness we all desire. This is that story. It's a simple read, but it's an inspiring moment. Buy yours today.
Many of us know that high school today is not the same as high school in the 60s, 70s, etc. Pressure to achieve, the competitiveness, the anxiety to fit in, and the loneliness has made being a teenager a pretty tough job today. In Bob Walter's new book, Facing Reality in American Education, he looks at ways to help these young people understand just how amazing they really are and for the students to know that their gifts are theirs alone and they are created with those gifts to excel and be all that they can be. I'm sure you agree. Pick up your copy today. There's nothing that can bring more joy than a young boy or girl smiling or laughing so loud they can't stop. At ilovemybears.com, we love to see that, and we're so thankful that we get to hear the reports of these little ones loving their newfound friend. I Love My Bears, soft, cuddly, and to top it all off, made one at a time by master seamstress Patricia Haynes. Go to ilovemybears.com and get your bundle of joy today. Not only will you be happy you did, but watch the smile of your little one the first time they get to hug their very own.
Hi, my name is Tom Julian, the author of The Shepherd. You know, there's hundreds of thousands of people who have felt like the title character of The Shepherd, Tony Castanelli. Alone, no family to count on, friends are becoming few and far between. But God has a way of looking down on those lonely hearts and somehow in His own beautiful way bring people into our lives who can help us find the direction and purpose that we all need and the happiness we all desire. This is that story. It's a simple read, but it's an inspiring moment. Buy yours today.
Parent, I really hope to speak to you if you have a son or daughter in high school. I don't need to tell you how bright and talented they are. You witness that throughout their lives. But have you ever thought that maybe your son and daughter are gifted enough that they could be earning an incredible salary without ever having to go to college? In Bob Walter's book, Facing Reality in American Education, his heart's desire is for each child to be looked at individually, not as a group, and so discovering ways to help them achieve as quickly as they can. Because it's no secret, they are truly gifted. Don't you agree? Buy it today.
Hi, welcome back to West Coast Weekly. I'd love to introduce you to Erica Spiegelman. Erica, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. So excited to be here.
And I know you've written a book called Rewired.
I have,
So
yes.
now we're going to go a little bit further with the book and actually get into the nuts and bolts of what Rewired is. Can you tell us about that?
Oh, well, Rewired is a whole soul makeover, really. It's about changing our brain for healthier habits, our relationships, the way that we communicate with people, and the way we care for ourselves. So it's a full 365 way to rewire our lives.
Yeah, it's like an internal makeover. Is that what you would say?
It is an internal makeover. It's external and internal, and it's everything that, you know, contributes to our happiness. Like what makes us happy and how we can deal with stress in life and how we can pick healthy relationships for ourselves, because everything contributes to how we get along in the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And your expertise, I know you've been a counselor. Tell me a little bit about that and then the impetus of Rewired.
Yeah, I've been a counselor for 10 years in the addiction world, in the recovery world. So dealing with people that have addictive behaviors towards drugs and alcohol, gambling, sex, eating disorders. So I've seen, you know, people get off off the path that they were once on, and really how to work and help them see that, you know, with good self-esteem and ways and coping skills, so that they can actually get their lives back and their interests back and good relationships back. But addiction, you know, is very it's very devastating for most people.
Oh,
and
it
so
truly is.
it's a long road ahead. And so I've helped people back from the brink, and there's so much hope, and that's
Fantastic.
why Rewired is really just a great way of learning.
So you'll be sharing those mindset strategies on your show Rewired.
Yes.
And I would imagine having guests maybe that you're going to help work through, or people who are experts in that field as well.
Well, we're going to have guests on that are dealing with these issues, that are dealing with issues around relationships, issues around the fact that maybe their work isn't doing well, or in some way they're suffering or having negative consequences in their life, and give them tools and coping skills and ways in which, you know, they could get back to their best selves, and really teaching them you know, a different set of skills to really, you know, thrive.
That
overall.
sounds like breakthrough television, where somebody's going to actually come on, talk to you about an issue they may be having that's preventing them from getting a result they want in their lives. And you're going to work with them by giving them tools.
You're giving them tools, and addressing the 4 cornerstones of self-care, which is the physical, mental, emotional, and then spiritual.
Wow.
So depending on really what their ailment is or what kind of issues they're dealing with, we're going to individualize it and address it. So creating like a recipe for each person, so that they can have their own you know, treatment, if you will, for life.
How important is exercise in all of this?
So important. And it's more than just like for vanity reasons. Exercise is so good for our brains and the neurochemicals that get released, and obviously people feel proud of themselves, and then usually they take the next best step, which is like, if I just worked out and I just took care of myself, I'll probably make better decisions with what I eat, and I'll probably get to bed earlier, and I'll probably be more confident with my energy when I meet people. And so, you know, it just bleeds into all the parts of our lives. So it's just, you know, and really exercise, we could start with that, but also if you start feeding your brain and learning new ways of communicating and understanding how to pick good partners in life, that will also help you make the next best decision. So, you know.
I'm super excited for you, because I know you have the skill set. You've been doing it for enough years. You've written a book about it. You continue to counsel, and I'm really excited. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
And that's our show for today on West Coast Weekly. Thank you for joining us, and hope to see you soon.